self-control. Against such things there is no law. Ephesians chapter 4, 1-3. It says, therefore, I, the prisoner of the Lord, implore you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling with which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, showing tolerance for one another, and love, being diligent to preserve the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Galatians 3:12-13. So as those who have been chosen of God, holy and beloved, put on a heart of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bear with one another, and forgiving each other. Whosoever has a complaint against anyone, such as the Lord forgave you, so also shall you. Last but not least, Galatians 6:1. Brethren, if anyone is caught in any trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness, each one looking to yourselves, so that you too will not be tempted. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. A word of God for the people of God.
I'm not sure what microphone's on. Can you hear me? Okay. God is so good.
Amen.
I want you to know this sermon is for Nicole this morning. So isn't it funny how when we are, the Lord calls you to do a sermon, it's usually for you. I don't know how the preachers in the house say amen. Or when you read your devotion in the morning and you go, oh, well, so-and-so needs to hear it, right? It's really for us. So I don't know about you, but I want to be like Jesus. I want to be like Jesus. I mean, when I got saved, God put that desire in my heart that I should be seeking after that example. And the fruit of the Spirit is love. Amen. It is joy. It is peace. It is patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control. Against these things there is no such law. So you mean we can do as much as we want of these things? And there's nobody that will stop me? I can love as much as I want, and be as happy and joyful as I want, and be peaceful as much as I want? Yeah, and there's no such law against those things. Well, I don't know about you, I don't know anyone who ever embodies every spirit all the time, but Jesus did.
Amen.
And since I want to be like Jesus, I want to see how he's able to do all that and not falter. How did he do that? Well, of course, he's God, and I am not. Amen? Part of our recovery is to realize that we are not God. We celebrate recovery in AA, and there's all kinds of principles. I realize I'm not God. I have a tendency to do the wrong thing, and my life is unmanageable. Anyone in the room? All the sinners said amen. Happy are those who know they're spiritually poor, right? Because if God is not in us, we really are a hot mess. Amen? Gentleness.
Amen.
Gentleness is allowing God to deal with others so that we don't have to give them away.
Amen.
Gentleness is allowing God to take care of what we think we got to take care of. It's showing grace. I mean, it's hard to do, isn't it, all the time? To show grace when we're frustrated. When we're waiting in line. Isn't it hard to be calm, serene, and tranquil all the time? I know we can do an inner scream. Because we've all been there. But gentle people aren't harsh. Now, we might be harsh, but when we're being gentle, we're not being harsh. We're not being loud. We're not being demanding when we're being gentle. Gentle and meekness, the words are interchangeable, and Scripture does talk about the meek will inherit the earth. But none of these, we don't really use the term meek very much anymore. We say gentle, or, we use the word kindness a lot, be kind, stuff like that. But do you remember in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy goes to Oz, and the great Oz says, and who are you? Right? And she says, I am Dorothy, small and meek. That's what I think of when I hear the word meek. I hate to tell you, I don't think of the Scripture right references to meek leaders in Scripture, and that is Moses and Jesus. Doesn't it give you hope that Moses was meek? Moses had such an issue with anger and frustration. He even broke the tablets, came down and saw people having orgies and worshiping cows, and he was like, these people worshiping me. Broke the tablets. And he's like, okay, buddy, you want to go up there now? Now it's your turn to chisel it out. My finger's not going to rewrite what you just broke. And when the water that was supposed to come out of the stone, and he had his staff, and he's like, well, Lord, we usually just like hit the stone. I said, speak to the stone. No water, come. It didn't happen when he wanted it right now. So he begged him with the staff, and God, being faithful God, gave him the water that he was seeking, but he never reached the promised land. Didn't take direction real well, but yet still, emotionally and physically, apparently. But still, he was considered meek. I want to show you a picture. Unless it was shown up here. Sorry for the poor screen work. I want you to look at this picture for just a minute. That's a wild horse. Yeah. And you're in the home of the wild one, so this makes sense. But I want you to see that this horse ain't playing. He is not playing around, right? He's like, listen, buddy, that's my girlfriend, that's my food, that's my child, whatever that horse is saying, right? Anyone in the room, then that horse. Biting the head off of a person. Sometimes we don't even know the person. They could just be literally like the waitress at the restaurant. But here we are. Exerting all of our strength all at once, saying, I am powerful. I want you to show this next slide. There's my niece, now daughter, Kristen. And this is her horse that she rides every week. And it is at the Ocala Marion County Therapeutic Riding Center for children who have disabilities and anxiety and PTSD. And every week, my niece and my nephew, my son and my daughter, ride these horses. Now this horse has the same strength as that other horse. Has the ability to do just as much damage or hurt just as quickly. Yet it's bridled. It's tamed. In fact, this horse is so tamed that children can pull its hair and it doesn't respond. Children can spit on that horse and kick that horse, have seizures on the horse, and the horse is chill the whole time. Are you chill? Right? When someone spews those angry words at you, or do you kick them? Are we allowing all of our sinful lives of disabilities to bleed on each other without responding or reacting or becoming triggered like it's about us? Come on, it's hard. Oh my gosh, I do it all the time. And then I go, I want to be the horse at the horse therapy camp. So when you feel triggered to go and bite the head off of some person, whether it's someone you love or you don't even know, I want you to remember these photos. You are just as strong. You can be in control. Oh, sure you can. You absolutely can. And no one can stop you. Yes. But should you be? Or should God be in control? Because God blesses those. So not only when here on the earth, it also says God blesses those who are meek, who are gentle. I think that's an amazing bonus. I am blessing. Gentleness diffuses anger. I want you to keep this picture up here. It's essentially an antidote for angriness. Whether it's angry with yourself or with someone else. In Ecclesiastes 10:4, it says, if a ruler's anger rises against you. Now, we don't have rulers, but we do have bosses. Okay, so I want you to think of your boss or someone in charge. So, if a ruler's anger rises up against you, don't leave your post. Don't quit. Don't run. Because calmness can lay down great offenses to rest. Gentleness diffuses your critics. Anyone got a critic in here? Sometimes it's the one inside our own head. Come on. Because it'll disappoint your critics. You can't respond. If you don't respond, honestly, even on Facebook, y'all know what I'm talking about. Even on my become like scum of the world. Because if Jesus took the cross because of my inner scum, then who are we? We need to be nice people. So gentleness diffuses critics. You know, if somebody hurts you and then you hurt, and they hurt you, and then they're kind of below you. You know, we like to think in terms of like hierarchy or like thing. But if you get even with them, you're even with them. But if you respond in kindness and gentleness, God is glorified above it all. Amen. It won't be about you, and it ain't even about them. Self-control and kindness and all that stuff is lumped together. I say it starts to smell like a fruit salad, right? We want to walk around smelling like a fruit salad, right? We want to have all of those beautiful, fragrant ingredients in our souls. So we can respond gently. In 2 Timothy 2:25, it says, opponents must be gently instructed in the hope that God will grant them repentance, leading them to truth, and then they'll come to their senses. So if you have somebody who's opposing you, and they might even be your friend, sometimes it's even your friend, could even be your opposition, our witness is dependent on our gentleness. You cannot win your enemies to Christ. You win your friends to Christ. Because people are out there looking for the validity, not of Jesus, but of you. They want a reason to not have to believe in Jesus.
That's right.
They want a reason to not have to come to church. They don't need no church. Because if you go to church, I don't want to go to church. Right? So how can you win your enemies to Jesus if you're telling them, it says, so they will have the hope that God will bring them to repentance. That's what we're all out there for, right? To share the gospel of peace with do this. I'm going to tell you, you stick to your story and you're never going to get it wrong. You stick to your story and you're never going to get it wrong, because the dangerous trap the enemy sets for us is our own triggers in our life. We all come from wounds that we have when we're little kids, and we walk around and we ambulate around with them for the rest of our life until God takes us out of the grave. Right? No grave. So the thing is, how can we live a life of resurrection if we're living in the grave? If we're responding every time, if we have something to say, we have to be fast. Because persuasiveness cannot be abrasive. You cannot be persuasive and be abrasive. Gentleness is persuasive, right? You know, when we get up and you're trying to encourage people, you don't get up here and say, I mean, you can. I mean, you might convince maybe 5 people, but you're not going to really, engage a whole lot. We need a tough, hard skin and soft, tender hearts. We don't need a soft skin and a hard heart. Let's say it again. We need a hard, tough skin and soft, tender hearts. We don't need thin or soft skin and a hardened heart. Jesus was persuasive. And in fact, he didn't walk around condemning anybody, really. He spoke in parables. He spoke with questions. He asked people stuff. They already knew. But did he go, oh, hi, I'm the Messiah, I'm the leader over here. Can you just gather around this mountain here? I'm going to do a little sermon. I mean, because God sent me, I need you to come to me. Because I'm the leader, I'm the one. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to say that you're the leader, you're not the leader. And that's the truth that Pastor Beck taught Nicole. A very hard truth that Nicole had to learn. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord, let me die myself. Because the thing is, our insecurities have to go around and say, I'm in charge. Me. And God says, oh yeah? Who woke you up today? Who's in charge today? You're in charge? You don't even know what you're doing tomorrow. You forgot what you ate yesterday, girl. Come on. But if you gotta go say, I'm in charge, then you're taking a walk by yourself and there's no one following you. You're just on a walk. You're just on a walk. So I don't know how, if you're a leader at your job, are you a manager? Are you kind? Are you a leader in your home? Are you a leader to the church. Jesus never went around saying how much he was leaving. He just did it. And he drew all men to himself because of his gentleness. Because he didn't look like those Pharisees. So when we go out in the world, do we stand out? Do we look like everybody else? When we're given the wrong food at our table, after you ask that waitress if she needs prayer, and your steak ain't done, do you say, this is not cooked. I paid good money for this. Oh, come on. You know what I'm saying is true.
Yeah. Amen.
Do we get impatient if we have to wait 10 sleepy minutes for water? That table, they sat down after me. And you want to pray for her? Or him? Gentleness is persuasive. Gentleness will lead people to repentance. The hard sell doesn't work anymore, right? I mean, you know, Mr. R was saying that he used to be a car salesman and he used to sell pretty expensive cars. I say those cars pretty much sold themselves. You know, people who came to buy a car from R knew they were coming to buy a car from R. But when you go out to share the gospel, people don't know they're trying to find Jesus. They're just searching for something to fill the hole. They don't know that Jesus is the answer, but you're supposed to be showing them that he is.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, when we are in line behind somebody and they are literally oblivious to you, stop taking everything so personally. You know, we'll go on Google and give a 5-star review for a restaurant, but when's the last time you gave Jesus a 5-star review?
Wow.
Gentleness is also attractive, right? Like Jesus draws all men unto himself. I want someone to know Jesus because Nicole has died and Jesus has risen again in Nicole. So men and women out there, if you're single, I recently am not single anymore. And I'm very happy to not be single anymore. No offense. But I just want to say, you want a godly person in your life, you got to be a godly person. You can't keep saying, I want this, and then you're not doing it. Or I'm going to go to find a good girl at church. But then you don't find Jesus at church. You know, or I'm going to go to church and find me a good godly man, but then you don't find a godly God for yourself when we're there, right? But we often compartmentalize things. And we have these different little boxes in our heads. We have work, home, spouse, and we want to model what we want to receive. So if your employees are acting crazy, you might want to wonder how you're leading your employees. My children act crazy. God says, Nicole, what kind of mother are you being? What have you allowed? How are you doing this different? How can you change? If your wife doesn't do what you want her to do, ask yourself, am I kind and gentle? If your husband's being jerky to you, say, am I being honoring and sweet? You know, you don't have to abandon who you are to die to self. And I want to make that real clear. You're allowed to be who you are in Christ. But you don't have to let your flesh win every time. Let's think about, hear this quick story about Ruth. So in the Old Testament, in the book of Ruth, there's Ruth, and she's with Naomi, and they're in a field of Boaz. And Boaz was a businessman who was very rich. And Boaz had all this stuff, and there was a lot of harvest, and so what would happen is Ruth's husband died very young. And she did not have to take on responsibility of her mother-in-law, but she did. She said, okay, we're in it together, let's go. So she said, I'll take care of you. So she goes and she starts gleaning in the fields behind Boaz's harvest, right? And Boaz, you know, you gotta imagine that he's over there going, who is this little? And he's looking. Now Boaz could have went out there and said, get out of here. This is private property. This is my house. But what did he do? He started asking questions. Who are you? Who do you belong to? Now Ruth was not of Jewish blood. She was definitely not Jewish. And yet guess what happened? That gentleness of Ruth's response and the gentleness of Boaz's approach brought Ruth into the lineage of Christ. Amen. Are you in the lineage of Christ? Are we? Do we tell people that we have the bloodline of Jesus going through these days? By how we act, do those fruits of the Spirit come out? Because, you know, we're also intertwined in the vine. We're all 5 that says, but let it be the inner beauty of the hidden person of the heart, the imperishable quality, the unfading charm of a gentle, peaceful spirit. One that is calm and self-controlled. Notice you can't separate it. It's all there. But not over-anxious, serene and spiritually mature, which is precious in the sight of God. Your gentleness will earn respect. You cannot be understanding if you're being demanding. You can't be understanding if you're being demanding. A prerequisite to leadership is gentleness. When they don't think you're the leader, just be nice. Right? Just be kind. Because through that, repentance will happen, and then you might actually take leadership for real. And you're going to do a whole lot more good through that than if you were banging somebody and telling them you're the boss. A prerequisite for leadership, Rehoboam, Solomon's son. He was kind of, I'm going to call him Bobo. Anyone who knows the Old Testament story about Solomon's son? Oh my gosh. Because he, inherited this kingship, and he went to the elders and said, how do you think I should run things? But then he did the exact opposite of what he was told to do. He ended up going to his friends, and then he went back to the people, and he demanded that he be in charge and do things his way. Things didn't end real well for him. So this week I want you to go out, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to see when someone is serving you, to be understanding, not demanding. When someone disappoints you, be gentle, not judgmental. And you know what's funny? Billy and I were talking about faces, and I was telling him about nursing school. Sometimes our face ain't saved. I don't want to look at you. Sometimes our face is not saved, right? It's not saved. Our facial expressions are honest. So when someone smells bad, you don't have to say anything. You knew what you meant. So when you're trying to be gentle to someone, try to make sure your face is safe. Just try. It's hard. It's hard. Because the more we try, it almost seems like the more we fail. But Kim and I were saying, I said, Kim, remember in nursing school when they tell you you can't go in a room and be like surprised? Because people are looking, we're all insecure a little bit, right? We're all looking to be accepted by somebody. All want validation. That's part of the human nature, is to be accepted. Of course, we don't realize we got to get it from here in order to really understand how to get it from here. But still, we do. We do it. So when someone disappoints you, how about say, help me, Jesus? Because you can't do it in your own will. Our faces do speak volumes about what we're thinking. And so I actually had a patient one time who her wound was very, very infected, and she didn't realize how sick she was until Nicole came in the room and made face. And she was like, is it that bad? Am I okay? Am I going to die? True story. And then I was like, yeah. And then I almost had to backtrack. We don't want to have to backtrack all the time. It's okay to do that. But as we become more aware people, we should become transformed people. So when someone disagrees with you also, I want you to be tender without surrendering. So when you have a disagreement with someone, you don't have to change your beliefs. Just be nice. Just be nice. Brené Brown is one of my favorite psychologist people. Anyone like Brené Brown? She's so good. Anyway, she said something this week that I really liked, and I'm going to really shouldn't try, but I'm going to try to not try. Okay? Assume everyone is doing their best. Assume everyone is doing their best. Okay? The benefit of the doubt. We can only pour from what's in our cup, and so do they. We can only use the tools we've been given, and so do they. The grace that we wish to receive, you better be willing to give it out. When you feel tempted to say, they know better, they should know better. Oh, should they? Why? Because you said so. How many times do we do that? They should know that you should be doing this. They should know. I realize I'm not God. I have a tendency to do the wrong thing, and my life is unmanageable. each other around an unbeliever, you are stifling their growth. How are they going to find Jesus if you know Jesus and that's how we act, right?
Amen.
So assume they don't know. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Do you know that even our spouses, our children, our friends, as we grow along in Jesus, there's going to be times that we are triggered. And you might even know that they know better. Well, right? But I want to tell you that those wounds, our childhood wounds, are deep, guys. And they come out at the most opportune times, completely inconveniently. So when I want you to be kind to the person you are with, or your children, or your neighbor who doesn't mow the lawn, or has a barking dog, or even your own barking dog, like my barking dog. You know, they don't know better. So then when we do better, when we know better, we do better, right?
Amen.
We were at Busch Gardens yesterday, and there were a lot of kids around. There was a lot of kids around. And you know, kids are so clueless sometimes about what's going on around them, right?
Yes.
So when we are around kids, and you know, some children can be disrespectful. Amen? Okay. Well, some adults can also be disrespectful.
Yes.
Amen? Okay, so here's the thing. When you see a disrespectful child, assume they don't know better. Even if it's your own child. Then you might want to wonder why they don't know better. But if you do that, your response will be a lot more gentle. I'm going to give you this as your homework, to be still and to chill. Okay? Be still and chill. Because in James chapter 3, it says, if you bridle the tongue, the whole body is bridled. And you see this here. This is strength under control. That's what gentleness is. Strength, the ability to kill, to hurt, to damage, and yet not affected. We want to be effective, not affected. We want to be effective, not affected, right? So when we are in that moment, and when we really want to tell that person what they should be doing, I want you to realize that gentleness is allowing God to intervene, not me. Sometimes God does use people, but not with harsh words, but with loving words, with gentleness. It turns away wrath. And if we're calling people to follow Jesus, we should want to become more like Jesus. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father God, we thank you for today and this word you've given us. Lord, help us to be strength under control. Lord, I pray your Spirit would live and reign in us, that literally the fact that we are implanted in your soil and your living water in the sunshine of your Son Jesus that shines on us would bear the fruit that we don't have to will into existence. It just will be because of the communion we have with you. Help us to stay connected to you so we can very healthily and effectively connect to other people with your love and gentleness. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Before they start communion, I need to make one correction. I made a mistake. The second Saturday is this Saturday, the 8th. Arts of Love is this Saturday. So please attend. Sorry.
You know, gentle people don't win.
Amen.
You ever heard that cultural slogan that we throw around a lot? I'm winning. So-and-so is winning. Look how many Instagram likes they have, or look how successful they are, what they do. They're winning. We use that language, right? Gentle people don't win. This is completely inverse, completely countercultural to everything that our culture teaches us, what we've heard from Pastor Nicole this morning. Imagine this. There's this thing, the Super Bowl called tonight that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they played the Super Bowl gently? Let's play patty cake. Can you imagine the offensive line? Excuse me, can I just never said a mumbling word. He went to the cross. Although he could have called down 10,000 angels. He could have turned this world right side up, coming in on a war horse with fire and power. But he changed the world through the gentle, humble act of carrying a cross to a hill called Golgotha, the skull. Gentle people don't win. Are you ready for that? Are we ready for that? Every time we come to the table, we see what true power is. That true power is like this horse being yoked with Jesus. Emptying ourselves, giving ourselves away. Not winning in the sense of the world, but being faithful and obedient to Christ and His will for our lives. And every time we come to the table, it's an opportunity for us to die to self a little more, to ask God to fill us with His grace and truth and power, to leave a part of ourselves here on the altar, that part that needs to be left, so that we can take up the power of the Holy Spirit and live that out in the world. The good news is this morning there's room at the table for all of us. There's room at the table for you. That final night when Jesus was betrayed, He lifted up the loaf of bread among them and said, "This is my body broken for you. Take it, eat.